believe it's Friday already. Welcome to the final Seahorses session of Beach Mission 2020. It's been great to have you with us this week. Do stick around to the end of today's session to see a fun part of Seahorses' life that we've missed out on because we haven't been together, but I didn't think we should miss out on it completely. So today's activity is one that we do every year at Seahorses, and that is making mocktails. So what you need for today's activity is to go into your kitchen and find the things that are edible in order to be able to drink. Okay, find them, bring them to where you are and make a mocktail. And I'm a little bit nervous because normally each year we get you guys to make mocktails, but we don't normally get to make them. Enjoy watching a speeded up version of me making this mocktail. So this is the worst mocktail you've ever seen in your life. You can make a better mocktail. So make your mocktail, make it a better colour than grey, and then in the comments post your pictures of your mocktails and let us know what you've created. I guess I should probably try this. Yeah, not great.
His reading is from Luke 15:11 onward. It's the tale of the prodigal son. Then Jesus said, "Once there was a father with 2 sons. The younger son came to his father and said, 'Father, don't you think it's time to give me the share of the estate that belongs to me?' So the father went ahead and distributed among the 2 sons their inheritance. Shortly after this, the younger son packed up all his belongings and travelled off to see the world. He journeyed to a far-off land where he soon wasted all he was given in a binge of extravagant and reckless living. Partying. With everything spent and nothing left, he grew hungry, for there was a severe famine in that land, so he begged a farmer in that country to hire him. The farmer hired him and sent him out to feed the pigs. The son was so famished he was willing to even eat the slop given to the pigs because no one would feed him a thing. Humiliated, the son finally realised what he was doing and thought, 'There are many workers at my father's house who have all the food they want with plenty to spare. They lack nothing. So why am I here dying of hunger, feeding those pigs and eating their slop? I want to go back home to my father's house, and I'll say to him, Father, I was wrong. I have sinned against you. I'll never be worthy to be called your son. Please, Father, please just treat me like one of your employees.' So the young son set off for home. From a long distance away, his father saw him coming, dressed as a beggar, and a great compassion swelled up in his heart for his son who was returning home. So the father raced out to meet him. He swept him up in his arms, hugged him dearly, and kissed him all over with tender love. Then the son said, 'Father, I was wrong. I have sinned against you. I could never deserve to be called your son. Just let me be.' And then the father interrupted and said, 'Son, you're home now.' Turning to his servants, the father said, 'Quick, bring me the best robe, my very own robe, and I will place it on his shoulders. Bring the best ring, the seal of my sonship, and I will put it on his finger. And bring out the best shoes you can find for my son. Let's prepare a great feast and celebrate, for this beloved son of mine was once dead, but now he's alive again. Once he was lost, but now he's found.' And everyone celebrated with overflowing joy. Now the older son, he was out working in the field when his brother returned, and as he approached the house, he heard the music of celebration and dancing. So he called over one of the servants and asked what's going on. The servants replied, 'It's your younger brother. He's returned home and your father is throwing a party to celebrate his homecoming.' The older son became angry and refused to go in and celebrate. So his father came out and pleaded with him, 'Come and enjoy the feast with us.' And the son said, 'Father, listen. How many years have I been working like a slave for you, performing every duty you've asked as a faithful son? And I've never once disobeyed you. You've never thrown a party for me because of my faithfulness. Never once have you even given me a goat that I could feast on and celebrate with my friends like he's doing now. But look at this son of yours. He comes back after wasting your wealth on reckless living, and here you are, throwing a great feast to celebrate him." The father said, "My son, you are always with me by my side. Everything I have is yours to enjoy. It's only right to celebrate like this and be overjoyed because this brother of yours was once dead and gone, but now he's alive and back with us again. He was lost, but now he is found."
Wonder how you found Mission this week. It feels a little bit odd for me to be sat here on the doorstep of my home filming this instead of getting to actually spend time with you in Sutton. This year has really felt like mission at home, at least for me. In today's reading, Jesus tells a story that's all about home. In the story, the younger son couldn't bear to stay at home, but took his share of the inheritance and left. The money runs out and he begins to think about how much better life at home would be, even as a servant. So he gets up and he goes home. The father sees his son a long way off and runs to him. The younger son barely has time to apologise before the father declares a party to celebrate his son coming home. We are always welcome home with God. Sometimes we might feel like the younger son, like we run away from God, maybe not even on purpose, but because other things can seem more exciting or more interesting or even more important than following Jesus. When we find that we've walked away from God, we can always turn around and go home to Him. God, like the father in this story, runs to meet us to say welcome home, to remind us that we're loved. But we have to make that journey. The father doesn't drag his son home, but watches and waits, ready to welcome. And then he throws a party. While this exciting reunion is happening, the older son is out in the field. And as he gets closer to the house, he hears the party and is told the good news: your brother is home. This doesn't feel like good news to the older son. So just as the father went out to meet the younger son who was coming home, now the father goes out to meet his older son who's refusing to come home. Sometimes we can be like the older son, feeling like we do the right things, yet are still distant from God, like other people are much closer to God than we are. But God's love for other people doesn't change God's love for us. The father reassures his son that everything he has is his and pleads with him to come home and to celebrate. With God, everybody is welcome. Regardless of whether you think you've been running away or sitting outside, God is inviting you to the party, so come and celebrate. Going away from mission, God is still welcoming you home to Him. The question is, will you keep on following Jesus? When God invites you home, will you come home to Him?
Hey, so today's prayer activity, we're going to do a thing called Lectio Divina, which is a way of reading the Bible and praying. So you'll need the passage again. So if you get your Bible, or if you don't have a Bible, get it on your phone or whatever, and go somewhere quiet where you're not going to be interrupted by people running around the house and whatever. So once you've done that, Lectio Divina is, as I said, a way of reading the Bible and praying. So it has 4 steps. The first one is read, the second one is think, the third one is pray, and the fourth one is rest. So the first thing that you want to do is read through the passage again. I know Megan's already read it, but go through it again and go through it fairly slowly and just make sure you know the story. And then I'd go through it a second time and then stop if something jumps out at you and dwell on it. So maybe you could think about how have I been like the younger son and kind of rejected what God might want me to do and decided to live for the world and found it unsatisfying. Or you could think about the older son. You could just, it can be a really short bit. You could just think about the line where the father runs towards the son and think about how God does that to us. But just find a bit of the passage that sticks out to you and then sit and think about it and think about maybe what it might mean in your life. And then I'd move on to step 3, which is pray. Now this is just, you tell God what you've been thinking about. You ask him maybe what he thinks. And yeah, you can say it out loud, you can do it in your head, you can write it down, journaling. Just tell God what was going through your head in the passage and ask him what he thinks. And then step 4, which is rest, which is just kind of combined within prayer. They're all the steps kind of merge together a bit, but after you've prayed to God, just sit and maybe ask God what he wants you to remember from this time of prayer, or just sit quietly and comfortably and just be in his presence, and yeah, just kind of chill time at the end. So yeah, have a go.
When we have age group together in Sutton as part of Beach Mission, we end our sessions by pieing a leader. Now, we haven't done that this week because we haven't been together, but I thought pieing the leader is a Seahorses tradition we should uphold. So I've roped in a member of my household into pieing your leader. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much for joining us at Beach Mission and in Seahorses this week. It's been so good to have you with us. We hope that you've learnt more about God and you've had fun. Again, thank you so much. I'm going to go and clean up properly, and we look forward to seeing you actually in Sutton next year.